What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Mili reaction. Today we have a Turtle's Heart. I thought we were going to get something else from Limbus Company in the comments, but Turtle's Heart absolutely crushed the highest of all the Limbus Company reactions I had, so I'm just going to listen to another Mili song, I guess. This is one that I've seen floating around my comment sections for months now, so I'm not really surprised that it has this much support, but also I just didn't anticipate I'd be getting to it today. But I guess without further ado, let's go! There's a lot of reverb in this mix. That's wide. It's like it was recorded with only room mics. Jesus. It kind of has anime intro energy. Drummer's having some fun too. Being a little bit creative with some of the placements here. I love that swing groove they have too. This is more different than I thought it was going to be. Now I see why people wanted me to listen to it. I've had a lot of exposure to Mili's different sounds recently, and I love it. Drum part, it kind of feels like Stuart Copeland's work a little bit. Has a looseness to it that I really appreciate. God, the groove is just so heavy on this one. Ooh. I don't know. I was kind of captivated by that last little bit there. It was just like, what, 2 notes? I don't think I could describe how much fun I had listening to this song. Like, usually when it comes to Mili, I have fun. That's almost a rule at this point. Every single song I've heard from them, even the ones that sound kind of samey, the stories always hold the song together. And in cases like this and the last one that we listened to, Tian, it's just, they are so unique in their style to me. I'm not used to hearing a lot of Mili's varied songs, and more recently, I've been hearing this other side of their musical journey that I honestly had just kind of expected the normal songs from them, and I was starting to realize that that's mostly just like largely 1 or 2 albums worth of music, and that's a very tunnel-visioned way to see music from any artist in general, but especially a group like Mili. Every single time, I'm surprised by something new that they're doing or an approach that's different, and I shouldn't be. I just need to understand. I need to process it in my brain and finally lock it away as truth that I have not experienced all of what Mili has to offer. I don't think any of us have yet with all the stuff they've released up till now. I still feel like there's so much more we could hear from them, but I'm still, for some reason, surprised when I hear songs like this that change up the expected formula a little bit. Like, sure, John was a little bit different. That was cool. That was nice to hear. I've heard Gilroy from a game that they worked on, and it's like, okay, that's a different side. And now I'm hearing this, and this is a completely different energy. And I love this. I love the way this one feels. It's poppy, it's bouncy, it's kind of expressively happy, but the lyrics are kind of interesting too, because I could see this in one of two ways. The title being A Turtle's Heart, for me and my hyperfixation brain, I've done research on random crap, and I know that a turtle's heart has some special properties to it. Like, they don't stop beating when they die. Don't ask me why I remember that. It's the tism. I don't ask for this. It's just placed upon me, and I have to live with this knowledge for the rest of my life. Point being, I know that. So I'm able to kind of place this concept of what the story is going to be just based on the title, and then I hear the rest of the lyrics and I'm like, okay, yeah, that could go one of two ways. The reason that I'm saying that is because it's either, and it could be a little bit of both even, the lyrics were kind of talking like this is somebody who's depressed, and because they're constantly having to deal with the existence that they're living and the fact that their heart keeps beating, and for the next however many years, they're going to have to deal with whatever's placed in front of them, and they don't really have a way to opt out of that necessarily, aside from you know what. So it's like, well, I guess I'm here. And you could see that in either I hate my job, I hate my life, my professional life, and I'm exhausted, but I have to keep doing this, and basically the grind is what's wearing me down, and I'm just exhausted dealing with it. And here I am having to deal with the hand that's dealt to me, even though it's definitely not ideal. Or you could see it in a lover's way, which tends to be a pretty common theme for Mili, so I would not be surprised if that's the case, a relationship backbone to this, where their heart continues beating no matter how much it's beaten up. So like, no matter what they go through, the heartbreak they deal with, which I feel like the latter half of the song was kind of making more clear to me, but the first half felt a little bit more like it was the daily grind. So again, kind of could go either way. It really depends on how you interpret the lyrics, but I could see that happening either way, and that's kind of neat, just having that story open up multiple paths for you to explore and relate in whichever way is more personal to you. And it's not that Mili hasn't done that before, but doing it with this like poppy, happy background is kind of a very like Japanese pop thing to do. For some reason, all the time, Japanese pop songs tend to do that. They make really happy, bouncy, poppy sounds for their instrumentals, and then all the lyrics are just like, I wish I were dead, please end this suffering, oh look, somebody else who hates me. And it's like, that's the lyrics when you translate them, and it's like, good lord. So this kind of hits a similar vibe to me, but in the classic Mili way, where you really don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if it's gonna get like really dark, which this does kind of have that depressive edge, but I wouldn't call it nearly as depressive as some stuff off of like Miracle Milk, for example. That's largely what I've experienced their music from. So like, it's not the same, but it's close enough that you could draw some parallels in just their general artistry. I feel like a lot of those topics are very personal to specifically Cassie, and of course Mili as a whole, but namely Cassie being the lyricist for most of them. And I've said this before, but I'm kind of worried about Cassie sometimes when I hear songs like this, because it makes me wonder what she's dealt with to have put herself in a place where she's writing lyrics like this, even if she's been to therapy and dealt with it. Maybe music is her therapy. For a lot of people, it is. But also, what happened to you? You know, like, I've asked this question before, but I think it bears repeating. Cassie, girl, you all right? You okay? Like, I know you're happily married, presumably, and all things are going well, presumably, but I'm very concerned about like what caused her to be like this. You know, like, what did she experience in her childhood that gave her the ability to write lyrics in this way? What gave her the ability to write poetry that is so dark but also poetically poignant? She's just so good at weaving these very intricate stories with very heavy topics in a myriad of different musical ways. And of course, a lot of that is Yamato Kasai, who I recently learned is her husband, which I did not know. And so that's newer information to me. Like a few videos ago, I think somebody said that in the comments, and I'm like, oh, so now I know. But yeah, there's so much I'm learning about this group, but part of me is just confused more and kind of hopes that Cassie just is doing better these days. I would presume so, but what happened to her to make her visualize songs like this and make it happen? Or even the weirder option, what if there is no thing that happened to her? What if there wasn't anything that necessarily went wrong in her childhood or something that made her react like this? Like, what if this is just her artistry? I know a few artists who are like very dark artists, like they draw gore and very graphic, depressing depictions of humanity and like monsters and such. And they're not disturbed people in the slightest. They're some of the happiest people I know. And I've asked them similar questions. What made them do that? And they were just like, I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. And it's like, you know what? Maybe that's Cassie's take too. Maybe she just thinks the macabre is kind of interesting, which I do too. So it's like, sure. I mean, you can. It's not like you have to have a deep traumatic past in order to create art like this, but you just assume as much of an artist when they have a brain that works like this, that there is some deeper, darker reason to why they're associating everything to these topics. I'm getting very psychological here, but I think that's what this song is doing anyway. It's supposed to be asking these sorts of questions and making you reflect like this. I've, again, done this before on other Mili songs as well, but there's really not much more to be said about the song other than I want to give the drummer's part in this another highlight and kind of dig into what I meant by the Stuart Copeland thing. For those who don't know who that is, he's the drummer of The Police and an amazing drummer, and he has a lot of feel like this. If you've ever heard Message in a Bottle or any other Police songs, you know what I'm talking about, especially Message in a Bottle, because he has such a vibe on that song, and that's kind of the feel that this song was giving me, just that swinginess to it, playing with some offbeat, off-axis crash cymbal stuff, you know, just kind of dancing around and kind of being explorative on the kit. And as a drummer, I do respect a lot of that because it's really fun to do, just taking things away and doing whatever you want and having some fun with those accent points. And I think that added a lot to this song. Like, you could have just played it straightforward, but they decided to do it in a swing, and they decided to have more fun with like adding different accent symbols at different places, stuff that I haven't heard out of a lot of Mili songs in the past. They've done some of that before, but not to this extent. This is definitely the most like intricate drum part I think I've heard on a Mili song, just with that creativity. And to be fair, I am a little bit biased because I do love the swing feel in general, so like that's also a part of it. But man, this was just a blast. I've heard a lot of fun Mili songs recently, but this is definitely at the top of the list. It just had the most movement, it had the most brightness, but it has all of the stuff that makes Mili them as a group, and it's so them. But again, I need to like open my mind a little bit more and stop expecting the same thing out of Mili every single time I open a song, because clearly I know nothing, and I really need to respect that and just figure out what they're trying to tell me before I start assuming what they're going to be telling me. But I've definitely yapped enough on this one already, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any other songs you want me to get to from Mili or from Limbus Company or anything else, by all means, leave it in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!